Hey, hey,
Hi there.
how you doing?
Here we are for Wednesday conversations.
Showtime.
And we are Dave and Laura Butler of Work Life Consulting, where we offer online and on site customized coaching programs for the individual, the team, and the organization to improve overall work and life effectiveness.
There you go.
So, one of our topics that we maybe don't address enough
hmm
is today's topic.
hmm
You are what you think.
And what you think is what you are.
And this is something that can easily be, oh yeah, I'll get to that.
Yeah,
I got to deal with what I have to do right now.
yeah.
So
Well,
whatever you tell yourself, that's true too.
no matter where you go, there you are.
So how would you kick this off?
Well, I'd start by talking about what I just finished talking about with someone else, which is the importance of mindfulness in all this, being aware of the thoughts that you have. If you accept the fact, as we're saying here, that your thoughts determine your actions, they determine your perspective. If you can get a hold of the way you think, it's a little like being able to grab a hold of it before it gets out of hand. So
Right.
you start, you think, oh my God, we got no time. With last minute, we're going to have, are we ready on it? Or I can say, hey, I know what I have to talk about. I know what's important and I know what I want to say. So as I give myself those, they're not exactly affirmations. It's not like Stuart Smiley, gosh darn it, I'm just such a nice guy.
Well,
It's
I
not
think that one of the gifts that we get to see and witness with our clients is conversation between like a leader and a direct report,
Mhm.
which we call the differences to watch discussion, utilizing the Berkman tool. And I think what's so powerful about that are first of all, it creates a safe space because it's just the three of us.
Right.
And we set the stage for, this is no right, wrong, good or bad.
Yeah.
Number
And
one.
there's no win lose here. It's all win.
Yeah. But I think what comes out of that conversation is this the realization that our perspective and how we see things isn't necessarily what other people
Yeah.
see.
It's not necessarily, I think it's reality, but it's really my reality.
Yeah, so we don't see the world the way it is. We see it the way we are.
Right.
And if we can adjust and just move, I was having a conversation today with one of these meetings, and the big score difference was one of the differences was in emotional energy. And emotional energy is our expression of feelings. Those
hmm
who are lower are more objective. Those who are higher are more subjective. There was
hmm
a wide span between these two leaders, and it was just interesting to the one who was high sees the one who was low as cool, calm, collected,
hmm
and the
Cool.
yeah, and the one who was low um, didn't see her differently, but just realized that it's another behavior, another way to look at somebody who may not be like her.
hmm
So the emotion sometimes is necessary for certain situations
Yeah.
and not for others. And so
Good.
one of the things I told them is that this is a great opportunity for rehearsal. Because if there's a situation where either one, too low or too high, they can give each other feedback
hmm
and
Right.
start to see the world maybe as they are
hmm
a little
hmm
bit.
Yeah. If we accept that this is a true statement, then the way we are comes from the way we think and the way we perceive. We just keep going a step back and a step back. The whole answer to it is to be more governing of the way that I think about things.
Right. And we have the freedom though. Nobody's, saying that the one other conversation that came out of this, which I thought was an interesting one, was as things get cooking emotionally, um, the one who was higher stepped in and said, I think, but what I need to do sometimes is say, yes, but.
hmm
So based on our last week's live stream,
hmm
I said, well, how about if you shift it a little bit and make it a yes and? that yes, but so last week we talked about improv. And those of you who are just joining us, thank you for participating. Or those of you who may be watching this in a future state online, we are Dave and Laura Butler, and we are with Work Life Consulting. We're talking about you are what you think today. So if you've been in a situation where maybe you've neglected to choose the attitude shift, let us know. Write a note in the comment. Yeah. Or maybe there's situations where you have chosen to change and shift, and it's worked well for you.
This is what Viktor Frankl and his work on logotherapy and Man's Search for Meaning is his first book, said that this is the highest freedom. This is the ultimate freedom. We have the freedom to choose our attitude. No matter what somebody else does, no matter what the world does, no matter what the situation is, we have the freedom to choose our attitude. And I think there's a great example these days. Everybody's been watching the television with Ukraine. The fact that the leader of Ukraine, when he was offered we jet him out of there and put him in exile or something, he said, "I don't need a ride. I need ammunition." That's quite a shift in attitude.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's a mindset.
Yeah.
It's this, and the interesting thing about him is that he's a former actor. So he knows what it's like to act as if.
Yeah, be able to shift your attitude. You learn that in the theater real quick.
Well, it's all about, there's this wonderful report in Berkman database, which is Mindset Report, which is it's a set of our attitudes and our perspectives. Mm-hmm. So just a couple of those perspectives I thought we could share out of the, the new image management report.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is social acuity. It's what expectations do you have of other people's behaviors and attitudes?
Right. Are they realistic or are they, untenable? I expect everybody to be like this because I am. Well, that's not really, doesn't make much sense. The extent to which you have realistic expectations of other people.
And it's also, the mindset overall is this attitudes and perspectives.
Mm-hmm.
So, and going back to, we have the opportunity to choose what we select.
Right.
So social acuity, which we just looked at, is one perspective. And the report, image management, is another perspective. And the extent to which you devote energy to managing and maintaining a public image. Those who are higher spend a lot of energy for that higher favorable image. Those who are lower seemingly have a little more, they can sort of coast by. They don't have the same urgency.
Yeah, their focus is on what they're doing, the quality of the work, the challenge that's in front of them. I don't really care what you think about me. I don't care if you think I'm a great mountain climber. I'm here to climb Mount Everest, and that's it.
That's right. Well, and what I think this all requires is the ability to be emotionally smart.
Oh, yeah, it all adds up to that, definitely.
If you're not self-aware, which is the first step, you can't move to the next step of emotional intelligence, which is self-management. Just can't. It's impossible.
So you could say that being emotionally smart is being aware, being mindful of myself and what's going on for me, before I start trying to engage with the world and bring my view and my perspective and put it on everybody else. Let's start with me. I was like the old adage, when I'm pointing fingers at somebody, there's three fingers pointing back at me.
Right. Exactly. Well, I put the website and the ticker below, because what you can do by going to our website is you can take a 2-minute quiz. Are you emotionally smart? Sort of gauge the level of your emotional smartness. And it's a precursor to a program we'll be launching in April, which is on being emotionally smart with a small cohort. So get started with the quiz. You'll be receiving additional information once you get into our database.
And certainly this issue of being emotionally smart is very important for leaders, because as the whole point of being a leader is people who follow you. Well, if you show up with a particular attitude, everybody's going to start to have that attitude. If you show up with a positive attitude and we're ready to go, everybody else is going to feel like they're ready to go.
Exactly. Well, I think one of the tools we can provide for people on this call, maybe listening later or currently, is our wheel of awareness.
Definitely.
So let me put that up.
Wow, you're getting good at this.
Yeah, I'm pretty. I love this. The tool is StreamYard.
Yeah.
So it allows you to share slides, and there's a little prep in beforehand, but
Yeah.
I like it.
Great.
So what we've created here with the wheel of awareness, if you noticed in the middle, is mindfulness. It's the
Right.
ability to reflect on these various steps. So
Right.
one of the things that's certainly always impacting us and impacts what we're going through right now and will in the future is change. So if we look at how do we take steps to accelerate transition. I think that's what, when we look at organizations, they're busy, go, do, act quickly. What
Right.
they're really looking for here is to adapt to the disruption of change by accelerating transition that works for everybody.
Yeah.
It's not a one size fits all,
Yeah.
but there are various steps of the accelerating transition that you could make a note of for yourself.
Yeah.
And then looking at your networks, what are some of the networks you can enliven and
Who do you reach out to? Where do you go when you need help or advice?
right.
It's good to be able to have somebody to give you some real clear advice on what's going on.
And then to continually be learning. So is there something, given this new environment, this new world of work, is there something that you need to be doing that gives you that feeling of learning and growing as opposed to stagnating?
Mm-hmm.
And then you can put it all together and celebrate empowerment. So put yourself in put the wheels in motion to create a resiliency action plan.
Yeah.
What are the steps that work for you around change, building your networks, learning,
Sure.
and bring it all together with mindfulness?
Well, I think that empowerment is where you take control and say, if it's to be, it's up to me. And I'm willing to take responsibility for my view and my perspective. In fact, I'm going to be able to identify it and be able to step back and say, is it really valid in this situation?
Right. But it requires us to be emotionally smart. And when we say emotionally smart, we're really talking about the 5 pieces of emotional intelligence,
Yeah.
which starts with self-awareness, then self-management. If I don't know myself, I can't manage my relationships with others. Then we have more empathy to understand, hey, I don't see the world the way it is. I see it the way I am. Maybe I can see the world the way it is in somebody else's shoes, and have more motivation to want to work on those relationships, work with somebody who may not think the same, and then add it all up and have better overall relationships.
Great. Yeah, I like this wheel of awareness.
Yeah, I do too.
I think it's a good planner. It's also, in a strange kind of way, it's reflective of the EQ model you just went over, because the center is self-awareness, the change and managing myself through transition is self-management, this is working with others and reaching out and being interacting emotionally smart with others is the networks. The learning is the empathy. It's where I get a chance to think and grow and be able to be better. And the empowerment is what I do with all that now that I have it. So there's an interesting overlay here, I think. I just realized.
Exactly. So thank you for listening. We're going to close with our dear friend Elliot Lewis, ElliotLewis.com. His music as a takeaway here. And we look forward to hearing from you with any comments you may want us to cover. And thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Till next time.